Libra by Tip T.I. Harris. It is officially Libra season, ladies and gentlemen. So first of all, happy almost birthday. Happy birthday month to all my Libras out there. If you're watching this, happy fucking birthday month to you. But in this album's case, Libra is pretty much just an abbreviation for Legend is Back Running Atlanta. It really, really does amaze me the shit that y'all come up with when it comes to these words. I wouldn't have fucking thought of that either. I personally feel that that's a very weird statement for him to say, because I would feel that 2018's Dime Trap was definitely T.I.'s, message of saying that he's back to run at Atlanta, because considering that he took a long ass hiatus to make sure that album number 10 was going to be the absolute best shit he's ever dropped. In my opinion, Dime Trap is one of the best shit that I've heard T.I. drop in a long ass time. I enjoyed every second of that album. I think it's some of the best shit he's made so far. He brought back fucking trap music and shit, that the old school trap music that we all love, not that like new hype shit that gets overplayed, unfortunately. I absolutely thought that Dime Trap was his way of saying that, one of the biggest legends in Atlanta is back to take on the music industry. And now here we are at album number 11, which is, in my opinion, a very, very hard album to try to get into. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this one. Now, don't get me wrong, I will forever love T.I.'s music. I think he's a really dope lyricist and a dope rapper as well. I appreciate everything that he does do for the Black community. I think he's one of the few rappers out here that does contribute well to the culture and to his community. So I do definitely give him his props for that. But it's just when it comes to this project, I've come to finally realize that there is this same pattern that T.I. has with all of his music and just his projects in general. I've noticed that in all of T.I.'s projects, he makes them nearly an hour long, and if not, sometimes over an hour long, which, by the way, is absolutely not a problem at all. An artist is allowed to make a long album if he or she wants. I know that the past two projects that Chris Brown has made have been like literally like 2 hours long. So I don't really mind that. It's just that sometimes, with these projects that are, over an hour long or nearly an hour long, you tend to get bored sometimes, because, there is the unfortunate circumstance that, every track on that album just kind of sounds the same, and it doesn't really give you like a variety of different sounds to try to enjoy, instead of feeling like you're getting the same song over and over and over, and it's just an hour that you felt was fucking wasted. And although I do appreciate what T.I. was attempting on this album, it just felt like too much for me, at least. He has 20 tracks on this album. It's like an hour and 10 minutes long. And like I said, that usually isn't a problem for me. It's just that, it just felt like the same shit over and over, which is unfortunate for me to say, because I actually do really love T.I.'s music, and the fact that I really enjoyed his last project, and the fact that I'm not really, fucking or vibing with this album that much, it just kind of makes me sad, because I'm just over here like what the fuck happened? Sure, there were a lot of great catchy songs on this album. I actually found myself enjoying a good amount of the tracks on this album. There were 20 of them. I ended up enjoying like maybe 12 of them. But at the same time, it just felt that T.I. was just more focused on, just creating this sort of like nostalgic, sort of album, considering that a lot of the rap beats that you hear like on this album are obvious samples from past rap songs, which, like I said, I don't usually mind, the whole like nostalgia feel when it comes to these albums. It's just that, too much of it can make people realize, okay, like, yeah, the past was fun, but come on, like, it's time to move forward. That's the kind of vibe you get from this album, because it's just like too much like fucking nostalgia throughout this whole album, unfortunately. And I still very much do enjoy T.I.'s flow. He brings back that sort of like old head, like fucking like old school rap style. I always enjoy what he has to offer. And I do appreciate that he is once again showing why he is a really good, trap artist. Why, when he created trap music for the first time, like why he changed the way it would be heard forever. The reason why a lot of people do look up to him to create like more great trap music like in modern day times. But at the same time, it just feels that, his flow just it doesn't change at all. He just has, the same flow over and over. And, yeah, like, it's really great and funny here, but, it just gets a bit fucking repetitive just over time, especially because the album has 20 tracks and, it's over an hour long, and it's just, you know, you just kind of wish that he would change it up a bit at least. Now, as for the guest list, which let me just say is the biggest guest list that I've heard in a long ass time when it comes to a TI project, at least, I would say is a bit hit or miss for me, at least, because I would say half of the guest list does contribute well and are the reasons why I did, fairly enjoy this project. I think they do contribute well to what TI was trying to accomplish on this album. But I would say that half of them just didn't work out so well because they were either like artists that I felt aren't talented at all, or that just a few of the features that I know could have been good just weren't good, but could have been a lot more better. That's the heart of that's like the unfortunate like vibe I get from the guest list. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great songs on here with the features. For example, there's this song entitled Ring that has a feature with a Young Thug, which I know what I said about Young Thug in the past, but to be honest, both Young Thug and T.I. have made some pretty great bangers back in the day, and they just pretty much came back to give us that old school, Young Thug and T.I. vibe that we all really love and miss, so I do think that's a really good track. Another good track on here is the song entitled Moon Juice, which has a guest feature with Jermai and Snoop Dogg. A really, really like odd combination, but it honestly worked out like a lot more better than I expected. I thought this was going to be a really like weird song, but it honestly turned out pretty good. Jeremiah, like brings back that like classic early 2000s shit, when he was like first like starting to blow up. And as for Snoop Dogg, he is just a really like big legend. I think anybody would fucking kill to have this man on their albums. I think they contributed well to create this like really like great and soulful gangsta song pretty much. So yeah, I do really appreciate that track as well. And of course, T.I. does take the time to be a bit inspiring and to be a bit sentimental, as he makes a really great Black Power anthem with none other than John Legend himself on a track entitled We Did It Big. I think, those two have really great chemistry. John Legend is just really good when it comes to these kind of songs. I do appreciate that, they are speaking to the Black community, to give them like inspiration. I honestly did enjoy like that track because it was him, finally like not doing this hardcore like early 2000s trap shit. He's like adapting to modern day times and talking about like shit that is relevant to what's going on right now. That's when it gets a bit interesting. Unfortunately, the guest list is a bit of a problem because, like I said, there were some guest features that I felt could have done better or that I just felt weren't good at all. For example, T.I. unfortunately did collaborate with Lil Baby on this album. And, like I said, Lil Baby can be a good rapper when he tries, but right here he didn't fucking try, and I don't think he contributed well at all. But there were some tracks on here that had features with some really great people, and I just felt that they could have been better because, I got super disappointed for some reason. Like, they just weren't as good as it could be. For example, Benny the Butcher and Jadakiss show up together on one track on this album as well. And I just unfortunately like didn't really fuck with it, especially because I think that Benny is a really great lyricist and Jadakiss is just a really like big legend in general. And I just felt that song in general just could have been a lot more better. It was just a bunch of unfortunate shit where, where the guest list was good at some points, and then on the other half, like the guest list just could have been a lot more better. I will also say that this whole project feels like T.I. is being carried by the guest list, considering that there are 20 tracks on this album. About, I want to say five of them are just, a bunch of skits and interludes, and, two of them are songs where T.I. is by himself, and the rest of them just have features. Like, it is not good considering that there are only 2 tracks where T.I. is by himself, and the rest of them are just, are just being carried by the features because, I can't think of a single, like, time in this album where I felt that T.I. was a really fucking, a really, like, great and memorable part of the album. Like, it's just super unfortunate. I really don't like sounding negative, considering that T.I. is a rapper that I do, like, enjoy and appreciate, especially that, you know, the one segment that I did appreciate and enjoy throughout this whole album was towards the end, where T.I. is, you know, like taking a chance to, like, you know, speak to the Black community, you know, to give them inspiration and give them motivation, you know, to give them a voice, because they don't always have one, unfortunately. You know, T.I. does add his 2 cents on the whole, you know, police brutality, you know, the riots, you know, the whole like Black Lives Matter movement. You know, I do appreciate that he does that. You know, like I said, he's a really like big influence on the Black community, and you know, he is one of the few rappers that does show that he does care about them. But unfortunately, there was just like this earlier segments of the album where I just didn't enjoy, and it kept me from fully enjoying the whole project, because it was just a bunch of, you know, repetitive like shit and flow that, you know, I just felt could have been better, especially when it comes to someone like T.I. You know, I just unfortunately didn't enjoy this album as much as I wanted to. But despite what I have to say about the album, I do recommend this to the T.I. fans, because I know you all really love everything this man does. You know, I think it's something that you will enjoy. You know, I just unfortunately couldn't really fuck with it. But I will say, you know, please listen to the final like segment of this album, where he is being super inspirational and you know, talking about the injustice going on in the world right now, because I think that's something that we all need to hear. But besides that, you know, I don't really like the other parts of the album. So yeah, that's just me. You know, I'm sorry y'all, but you know, it's I guess this album just ain't for me. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed my review. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click that button down below, all that good stuff, and don't forget to stay happy.
Fuck all that protesting and marching peacefully. They still gon' find a way to handle us egregiously, legally. If I may get this shit up on my mind now. We born in the